Hello, hello, what is up? What is good? We got a new chapter of One Piece coming at you today. Shit, it has been crazy, and having a week break in the midst of all this craziness has only gotten me more amped up and excited for what promises to be one of the craziest climaxes One Piece has seen ever. We're playing Othello now. Is Luffy gonna come back and start flipping pieces back over? He doesn't know how to do that. But the spirit of Nika is the spirit of joy and freedom. So literally anything is possible. Literally anything is possible. That has been the predominant messaging of Gear 5. That has been what we are expecting from this capability. And, you know, he's got to make a grand entrance. He's been dicking around down there in the underworld, chopping it up with the Giant Brothers for, like, months and months of chapters now. This title is called A Horrible Day, which is the understatement of the century. Perhaps the worst day in a century for Elbaf. On the cover story, we got Yamato. You forget sometimes how huge certain One Piece characters are. I've been playing this game One Piece Duel. Check it out, it's pretty fun. It's a daily game where you have to guess a One Piece character. Every time you guess a character, it tells you which traits it shares with the mystery character, you know? And one of them is height. So it'll tell you, is the mystery character taller or shorter than the character you just guessed? And it's really making me realize, like, I'm 6'6". In the world of One Piece, I would be very short. I would be below average. Yamato here, dwarfing the random citizens of Wano. You forget. Alti and her brother, whose name eludes me, hanging out. And the GOAT, Kawamatsu, the Kappa. I love Kawamatsu so much. So cool to see him hanging out, inheriting the hat. In the background, you can see the Yokozuna beat up. Yamato did that last chapter. He's on a rampage of sorts, but everybody's having a good time. Alright, let's get into this. They're running off to the lift, back up to the main world. Ultra rare Gerd. He really can't help himself. Okay, so Gerd, Chopper, and good old Mr. Ya are going to stay at the bottom. I kind of expected, like, given just the momentum and given in that big signaling the counterattack moment, that they were just going to burst onto the next layer up super dramatically. So I'm already kind of surprised to see this, like, discussion. You know, I think the typical one in One Piece is they state their intent, they're going to go up. We cut back to the chaos unfolding, the tragedies on the upper layer, and then we're anticipating it, we're waiting for it, and then boom! Luffy pops up and starts signaling the counterattack. So I don't know, this is interesting. Something significant is going to happen in this scene, because there's no way that they're bothering to show us this just to remind us that Chopper and Mr. Ya and stuff are going to be down here. Okay, yeah. Scopper saying something to Luffy. Make a mental note of how you use your color of the Supreme King. They are not immortal. Okay, so this is how Scopper was able to damage, not behead, unfortunately for them, but damage at least permanently Sommers to some degree. To slow down at least the regenerative ability that's like so cheat code level. So is the hint that it's not just normal armament Haki, but using Supreme King Haki as like armament Haki, infusing your attacks at that level or something? Help me see the sense of a Gaban. I wasn't able to verbalize my own power. In that case, I've experienced it for myself. The Holy Knights can be stopped. Undo my cuffs and take me with you, Hadrian. You're gonna fight for Elbaf. Is he? It could be pretty exciting. And then that would also really set the stage for like the second act of this arc, where all of this is taken care of, and then they're just like, "Oh, Loki, you're free still. What are you want to get back in the chains? I don't know. Let's see. I'm not taking you anywhere. More than one of you is with Supreme King Haki. This is great. Now, we'd seen Zoro whip it out at times before, I'm pretty sure, right? Like, I think there was a time where he made people faint with his presence and his sword slashes and stuff. I think. Because this isn't surprising to me. That's basically why I think that, because I'm not surprised, and I'm like, we've been here before. Poor Sanji, though. Sanji is just getting shit on so often in One Piece. What about Sanji? What about Sanji? Rather have outsiders save our homeland. You already have me. Yeah, that's a good point. So you betraying Elbaf and joining the side of the government instead. You more or less already did that once. How can I possibly trust you? This is really driving it home. I'm sure that is not what happened. That it was Harold that was betraying Elbaf and joining the side of the government. And then Loki, that's why he killed him. And that he decided to cover it up with his own atrocities so that people could maintain the illusion of Harold as a good king. Blah, blah, blah. But we'll get to it. We'll get to it. Clearly that is not the focus of the story right now. Okay. So they have their fight. This is good too because it's like, this is the note we're leaving it on. Not just them hanging out and eating meat and kind of like staring daggers at each other, but actually like shouting the nature of their true conflict at each other, such that when this becomes the focal point again, when the business with the Holy Knights is resolved, it makes sense that this is like boiled to the surface. Okay. Join my oh! What? Holy cow! Alright. What do you think? What do you think? One Piece fans out there, what do you think? Because it used to be that this little straw-hatted goofball would run around telling everybody, join my crew, join my crew. But most of the time they actually joined the crew. It hasn't happened in a long time, dude. It hasn't happened since Jinbei at the end of Fishman Island. And then he, of course, didn't properly join until the raid at Onigashima. But we haven't seen a frivolous join my crew since he was running around Thriller Bark trying to get everybody to join his crew. This, I don't know, man. I don't think it means nothing. I don't think it means nothing. It's true. He doesn't fit on the ship. But maybe we're due for a new ship. We got the actual Jewel Tree Atom right there. We got Frankie and all the giant shipwrights. You know, we love the Thousand Sunny. We love the Thousand Sunny, folks. It's a great ship. But it's kind of a small fry on the stage that they're approaching. And if we're ever going to get a scene where the entire Straw Hat Grand Armada sails in, might not look right if the Thousand Sunny wasn't the biggest ship. I don't know, man. I don't know. What role does he have in the crew? He's just the fucking god of destruction, man. I don't know. What do you think? And we still haven't seen his eyes. Remember I was saying before that I knew from the start that I really believed that there was going to be something with, what's her face? The Holy Knight, Gunko. That I was like, Gunko is going to be a good kid after all because they're covering up her face. And that when she becomes a good girl and is their buddy and starts kicking ass on the good people's side and remembers her past with Brook or whatever, the masks come down, you see her full true face. Same with Loki. They've hinted more and more at the ambiguity of this character, but there's still going to be a moment of true pathos and stuff. I don't know, man. I'm kind of a believer. Just because it would be so nuts, too, to have not just a giant, but a giant that's bigger than giants. A giant on the crew. It'd be fun with you. Luffy gets it, man. Yeah, I don't know. The fact that they haven't shown Loki's Devil Fruit yet, we still don't know what it is. We still don't really know the extent of his strength. We still haven't seen him fight. Also, it would be very funny if we just had this scene where it's like Zoro's the right-hand man, Zoro's the second strongest in the crew, Sanji is feeling out of sorts because Jinbei is probably stronger than him, and Zoro is definitely stronger than him, and he's getting insecure about it. And then, to compound that joke that they just made right before this, somebody even stronger than Sanji joins again. I don't know, I'm starting to believe. I didn't see this coming at all. Maybe some true One Piece geniuses out there saw that it could lead to Luffy trying to recruit, I guess that's kind of a word, recruit Loki into the crew. But I am blindsided to this, but this is one of the best feelings in One Piece. It feels like you've been smacked over the head with a jigsaw puzzle, and all the pieces go flying out everywhere, and you're like, what the fuck was that? And then you look down, and all the pieces are like just coming together before your eyes. And you're like, oh, you're showing me this, huh? I want to see him fight. So true. And yeah, that's what I'm saying. Like, they haven't shown his Devil Fruit power yet. That's going to be like a big climactic moment of probably heroism in this fight against the Holy Knights. And then it's like, this is kind of the two-arc structure where Loki fights on the side of good and is dramatic and heroic, and we start to cheer for him. And then he gets his tragic backstory that all the Straw Hat Pirates have had, pretty much. Right before they join, we get to learn what a moment of salvation this is for him. And it's true. Luffy's like, yeah, they don't really want you around Elbaf. Even if the whole truth comes out and we realize that, yeah, he sacrificed himself to protect Harold's reputation and protect maybe something else, this X Factor in Elbaf that I keep talking about, who knows. It's like, was he wrong to do that? Not necessarily. Is the correct response to be like, let's go tell the truth about Loki and then everybody will hate our king? Or is he going to take an even nobler sacrifice and be like, yeah, no, I did it for the right reason. Let's let them continue their heroic king myth, and I'll just fuck off. And it's win-win. I'll go be a pirate. and the only problem he really has with it, it's not like he's like, I must stay on Elbaf. He's saying, why would I ever be a henchman for you? Well, you're about to find out. You're about to see what a real Nika looks like. Oh man, they're cooking. I think he's gonna join. Elbaf has condemned Loki to death. You can't have him. Oh darn, yeah. Alright, go on and unlock Loki's change. Loki killed 113 soldiers in the castle 14 years ago. Gave Chief Jarl a most grievous wound and slaughtered his own fathers. His crimes are monstrous and historic in scale. The new giant pirates are reacting to this. Holy crap, I got so excited I sneezed extremely loudly. They're cooking, dude. The day it happened, we felt an extreme abnormal hockey from the castle, and Shanks and I headed for Aurus Castle together. We didn't see the whole thing, but we were there. Yeah, Shanks. For some reason, everybody, like, all the comments and how were like, Shanks is probably the one that captured Loki in the first place and bound him up. And that seems like that's very true. Shanks obsessed fool. Oh shit. Oh wow. Maybe I got this all backwards. You have 3 minutes to explain everything. What happened in the castle 14 days ago, Loki? Swear by the name of God and speak the truth. Maybe it's all backwards. Maybe it's all backwards. And we're gonna get the flashback now, and Loki is gonna be perfectly sympathetic and stuff. That's a little disappointing, because if that's the case, then once they beat the Holy Knights off, we really are Gucci with Elbaf. There doesn't need to be an X Factor. We don't need to talk about the Giant Sword. We don't need to talk about the Heaven's Lair. It'll be fine. I honestly, it's like, I was like really excited about that, because I just thought there was so much potential for so much crazy stuff if we got into this like Ragnarok situation, this Act 2 of Elbaf and blah 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 blah. So I was like, yeah, this is just the warm-up. But now that I'm considering this idea of Loki joining the crew, I'm like, yeah, that's fine. Get on going then. Just bring Loki with you. It's crazy, man. Cruel demand, brother. You want me to relive that event? I'd rather not remember the details. It was a horrible day. Alright, here it is, man. We really are getting the flashback. Now of all times. That's crazy, but I guess that's not too uncommon with One Piece. This is not the only flashback timing like this we've had before. But alright, okay. Final chance for me to think it through. I think it's, yeah, Loki exposes some sort of horrible misdeed with Harold. Could be related to Mother Caramel's child trafficking. Could be some other agreement with the government. Could still involve some sort of Elbaf X Factor, such as Giant Sword, Heaven Lair, ancient history, etc., etc. Whatever it is, Loki says, hey, that's no good. Don't be doing it like that. That's not what I see this in the country. And they're like, what do you care? You've been gallivanting around everywhere, being an asshole, living up to trying to be like Rocks. Fuck off. You fuck off. Blah, 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 blah. The giant massacre, giant fight. Something like that. Summoned you too, Loki. Looking good though, old man. Just trying not to live too long. I have no interest in a man who'd sell his soul to the world government. Alright, so already... yeah, he's mad. These are the people who killed Rocks. Elbaf is going in that direction. He'll make an enemy of me. I don't read the politics of the younger folks. Peace-addicted children with no idea how to swing a weapon. I like this because it's like... Loki, I think, is definitely going to end up being the good guy. Because he's a future Straw Hat, man. But he can be an asshole. It's fine if he's an asshole. This reverence of Rocks. Rocks seems like he was an asshole. This idea of, like, children should not grow up in peace. Children should be war ready. Children should be fighting from a young age. I don't think we're supposed to go, like, yeah, based. I think we're supposed to be like, geez, man. And I think it's meant to be, like, a very nuanced... This policy of peace for Elbaf is good, but the world government is so evil that it's ended up creating a dangerous situation. Not that they were wrong, but now they need to compensate for that. Now they need to fight. It's the age we live in. My granddaughter's granddaughter doesn't fight, and she's adorable. Oh, that was the girl, right? That was the girl that was willing to jump off the cliff instead of burn the library. Coming from the throne room. And Loki, and nobody calls him Prince Loki. Summon me here. This is my home. Just open the damn door, you clown. Dang, seeing Loki like move around and stuff too. This motherfucker's joining the crew. He's just got too much sauce. Too much sauce to be left in this one arc. Oh shit. What is happening here? Harold is getting stabbed by a ton of giants. Oh, Loki's eyes are still bound up. This must have something to do with like his devil fruit or something. Or is this when he gets the devil fruit? It's all part of this chaos? Man, I don't know. This is why we're having the flashback. A lot of this I think is still pretty ambiguous. Okay. This is Shanks and Gaban hanging out in the Sun World. A while since we shared a good bath together. Ooh, I might go have a good bath today. This might be a hot tubbing day for me. 3 or 4 Captain Dead died 10 years ago. Okay, so this is 10 years after the execution of Gold Roger. This feel like an eternity for you then. My life's changed entirely. My plan is to join up with Buggy and lead a laid-back pirating life, but even here in Elbaf, there's so much more to learn. You're a child of fate, Shanks. Shanks D. Shamrock or whatever? No, Shamrock is the brother's first name. Okay, whatever. Don't bother thinking over the tricky little details. Remember Little Garden, the island where we met Dory and Bragi? Yeah, because they were already having their endless battle at that point. Shanksy. Ooh, lingonberry. It's very Nordic. Can have that at IKEA. Shanks about to blow up his frickin' spot. We haven't seen somebody's cheek get pulled like that in a while. I worship him like a god here in Elbaf. I met him in Marijwa. We got along alright. So that's quite interesting too. That implies that, you know, we saw before Shanks like strolled in to talk to the Gorosei. And I was like, in retrospect, that seems crazy. And then we found out Shanks' brother is a royal, a holy knight, so therefore Shanks technically has this bloodline as well. And then it's like, I guess he still gets that permission, even though he's like an enemy of the state. He still can take advantage of the fact that he's got that bloodline. But I guess that's not a one-off thing. He kind of pops into Marijwa, I don't know how to pronounce it, whatever. He pops in there occasionally or whatever. There's something we couldn't talk about in the Holy Land. So if he's back home, I'd like to meet him and discuss it before it's too late. On this day, there was a massacre in the castle, and the most beloved king in Elbaf's history, wise King Harold, perished. This is the treasure of Elbaf, the forbidden devil fruit. This is crazy because this is supposed to be the flashback that explains what happens. But we're gonna need a flashback within this flashback. We're gonna need, like, right now, what we're seeing in flashes and stuff is what Loki is trying to explain to Hadrudin. Like, who stabbed Chief Jarl in the head? Whose silhouette is it that's trying to get the forbidden devil fruit? The treasure of Elbaf. Like, it's weird because, like, Scopper is there, but he's not the one telling the story. Loki's the one telling the story, but it's, like, really from Scopper's perspective. Yeah, it's the flashback of the flashback. The flashback in the flashback. Oh my god, dude, we're gonna get flashback to the golden age of the giant pirates. 109 years before the present, when the question of what is the most frightening thing on the sea, so this is 9 years before their 100-year-long duel started. Not that it matters too much, it's long, long ago in the past, is the point. They're not fighting yet. The giant pirate crew are the most widely feared figures of the day. At the same time, the royal ship from the land of giants only enhanced the fear the world felt towards Elbaf. And a major reason for that... Whoa! Oh, man. Oh, God, this is so keto! Yeah, baby! Ascended to the throne at just 14 years old, 15 in human years. Was undeniably a low-life scumbag. Now, that's interesting. Because I was like, Harold's the bad guy. He was in cahoots with the world government. Now, this is cool too because this is no longer Loki telling the story. This is for the sake of the reader. Just the narrative in general is shifting to that time for our enlightenment, for our enjoyment, to have the rollicking adventure of King Harold in his long journey to the throne, starting as a scumbag and ending as the most beloved king in history. You know, Oda loves these sorts of stories. This is kind of similar to the story of Odin in Wano. He also was curmudgeonly and scumbaggy. And I honestly did not think that Harold was going to get this type of characterization. Because I was like, he's a bad guy. He was in cahoots with the world government. Loki was probably in the right. But now it's like, if he's starting the flashback story as a scumbag, surely this is going to end up being a story about his maturation and development and ascendancy into a true and proper king. In which case, it's kind of weird to do that narrative and then also say, but he was also a scumbag for these other reasons. Moreover, I just didn't really think he would be like a character. I thought he was just sort of like a story position where, you know, you find out about this whole history with him, but it's all in the past. And the story like starts with Loki discovering his misdeeds, you know? But no, we're gonna see his whole adventure, it seems. He was a low-life scumbag. Damn. He looks awesome, too. Yeah. That's the chapter. We are actually getting our giant flashback now. I was dead wrong. The Elbaf X Factor. Maybe it's just the fruit. Maybe it's the giant sword. Let's not forget about the giant sword. Maybe it's the Heaven's Lair. Let's not forget about the Heaven's Lair. But that looks like it's going to get factored in now. And yeah, my reading of this arc was way off. But that's fine. I don't read One Piece to be right. I read One Piece to have a good time. And I make predictions because it's fun. And it's fun when you're right, and it's fun when you're wrong. It's more fun when you're right. So you try to be right. But it's still fun when you're wrong. And you're like, oh my god, dude. We're getting the Giants flashback! I knew this was coming. I was right about that. Wow, shocker. One Piece arc has major flashback in the middle. But man. And this, I think, is going to be like the Odin flashback, where you're like, ooh, it's the journey of Odin, that'll be fun. And then it's just like, look, it's the scene of Roger finding Laugh Tale and seeing the One Piece before his eyes. It's one of the most significant lore, like, inspirations, like, things that you can anchor big theories about One Piece, what it is. That's the closest we'd ever come to seeing the One Piece, and it happened as like part of Odin's flashback. So here we could be seeing rocks, we could be seeing the previous age of piracy. This could involve the early days of Whitebeard. This will probably involve Big Mom's story. Like, I don't know, I'd have to do some mental math to figure out when all this stuff is going to happen, but it's all between that, what we just saw, and now for sure. So it's on the table, depending on how many years of history we go through, how many of the 109 years. This is like the furthest back we've seen anything, right? Besides maybe the flashback on Skypiea was even earlier. That was like 400 years ago. I don't know, whatever. It's crazy. It's crazy. I love One Piece. He's freaking cooking. Please no break next week. Let's keep it rolling. See you then.